Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing this fine Tuesday evening? Let us get in here and pray. I pray your day has been amazing. The power went out here today, so I did a lot of facing myself. Okay. Thank you, God, for being Jehovah Nissi, the God of the banner. You place a hedge of protection in front of me, behind me, and on top of me. You keep me safe by any means necessary. Psalms 91, you place me underneath your mighty wing, and nothing shall by any means harm me. No evil will befall me, neither will any plague come by my dwelling. 1,000 may fall on my left-hand side, and 10,000 at my right, but it shall not come near me. No weapon formed against me will prosper. It will form, but I have the breakthrough formula from Jesus Stove and Arumala. Okay, that means God is calling everybody to the table that want to come and sit down. He said, if you want to sit down and get some wisdom, come on. I walk in and instead of fussing about what it looks like, just saying, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of facing me today. Yes, and making sure I didn't go back into my old ways. He was like, you can't go back into that, child. If you don't pay attention to your mindset, that's Jehovah Shalom, the God of peace, the peace that passes all understanding. Philippians 4. Think on these things that are good and of a good report. And if I keep this mind stayed on God, God will keep me in perfect peace. No, it don't make sense. But it makes faith. Because what I have faith in, I'm going to believe. And what I believe, I'm going to act on. And what I act on, I'm going to see it in the spirit realm before we get over here in this realm. Okay? This realm been changed so many times. Like Tears of Tears say, everybody want to rule the world. Everybody trying to do everything possible to take over. Jehovah Sabaoth, the God of hosts. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You are me and I am you. God placed a small all spark in our heartbeat before we entered our mother's womb. In Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 5, God told Jeremiah was nervous. He said, I'm young. I don't know what you, God called him. He said, I'm young. And God told Jeremiah, I knew thee before you entered your mother's womb. Meaning, we got a covenant together. I know you scared, but this is part of our covenant. Honey, and God is saying the same thing to us. No matter how fearful you get, no matter how you get and you contemplating and you fearing and you procrastinating doing what you need to do, God said he got us. Okay, God is not an aspect of love, God is love. So God placed an aspect of himself in our hearts. And it could be a foot, it could be 400 feet, it could be 1,000 feet, it could be 2,000 feet, but it's based on how you work it. Ephesians 3:20, God said he would do exceedingly abundantly above all we could ask or think, according to how we work the gift. It's up to us. It's up to us how we see the love, how we use it on an everyday basis. Is it easy? Not always. But to get to your authentic self, nothing is easy. It's easy to put on a mask. Jehovah Elohim, the God of gods, who made all this stuff to put between us and God. And God said, I don't have a problem with it because I gave you the idea for it. But don't you think you want to come to the Creator for you go to creation and religion? Because you're going to get hoodwinked, lied to, bamboozled, when you could have came to me and got a word of knowledge. Because I can take you to the brook that you need to be in. When that brook dry up, I send you to another brook. I never said you had to stay at one place all your life, or because that's your grandma brook or your mama brook, that's where you stay. That may not be where I put you. Because God wants a one-on-one relationship with us. And once you get that one-on-one relationship, you don't stay in places where you see everybody else stay. You follow the plan. And you may make a lot of people upset in the process, but go where God is going. Jehovah El Shaddai, the Most High God, your name is higher than any name that is named on this earth or the universe. If it can be conjugated in a sentence and a punctuation put at the end of that sentence, God is higher than that. If I try to think of something, you try to think of something, you try to tell me, I try to tell you, guess what? It's going to be a sentence or some paragraphs, and guess what? God is higher than sentences and punctuation, right? We already established that. Let's go. Jehovah Jireh, my provider. There is no lack. There's only provision. I just get to change my perspective. See, God is more than enough, and He supplied all I need. It may not look the way I thought it was going to look, but it's supplied. I just got to change my mindset and my thought pattern. I'm worthy because I exist, and I exist because I'm worthy. There's nothing that God will ever withhold from me. God is my source and not the things on the outside of me. See, God will use people on this earth to bless me. See, wealth comes from the north. As above, so below, not from the east, west, or the south. It will always be supplied supernaturally if I believe it. It's based on my frequency and my energy, which is key. If God is here and I'm over here, God will say, come to me. And every time you get up and you go to somebody, you change your perspective. Because that's what I do every time I get up and go talk to God. And we had a good talk today. Woo! There's a lot of stuff wrote in my journal today. Jehovah Rapha, my healer. You hear my soul, my mind, my spirit. Man, you hear so much of me. Today, I did a nice workout. I went outside and walked because it was pretty outside. And then the weather changed again. But I'm glad I got out there when I did. And when I came back, the power was off. Jehovah Gamola, the God of the recompense. Ain't no getting even with people and arguing with them. They know what they did. You know what they did. Just send all that negative energy up to the Creator. Ask the Creator to cleanse and purify it. And send it back to the center, cleansed and purified. Okay? Why? 'Cause no matter what they done, we ain't blocking their path or stopping their path. Why? Because cause and effect and sowing and reaping and corresponding action is out here. Meaning whatever you put down or whatever you say down is a seed. I live under the law of assumption that it's already worked out and I don't have to stress about it. Everything doesn't require my response or my fight. I choose my battles properly and I leave it in God's hands. I'm not going to be fussing and stressing out by stuff I can't control. And so it will be, and so to be, and forevermore. Some stuff is just best in God's hands. You hear me? Some stuff is best in God's hand and just leave it there. You don't pick it back up. Look in the description below to see a few items just for you. My books incorporate the essence of God. If you want to feel the presence of God, read In the Garden with the Father, Understanding True Intimacy. There you go. Woo, God is good. All the time, and all the time God is good. Page 38. Trust my voice. You're getting ready to go higher in me. Nothing just happens. I know what I'm doing. Rest in me. Come on here. Always a good thing. Come on here now. Okay. And then my other two books are Befriending the Shadow, Unshakable Peace, Unstoppable Change. Honey, both of those books deal with shadow activity books. Why? Because I was doing some shadow work and all the books I had, they had diagrams and everything, but I needed something that was interactive for my inner child and my inner teenager. And God said, well, make it. I would say, well, say less. So you get a word of knowledge. Then you get an exercise to have fun. And then you get a shadow question. Not so fun because it's in your face and you're looking inside the mirror. Once you get tired of looking in the mirror, don't run away from it. But you get an opportunity to go to the next pages, color pages. And God asked me to keep between the age of 5 and 10. Why? Because most childhood wounding happens between the ages of 5 and 10. By the age of 7, it is solidified. By the age of 10, it is really in your system. By the age of 21 and 25, it is now your responsibility to find your way out because you are considered an adult. Okay? And you're acting like one. All right. Can't nobody tell you now. And then it's and then the last thing you get is 4 pages. But it's 22 chapters. Each book is 4 pages of drawing, sketching, doodling. Write down your dreams, write down your visions, write down the things that you see. Because the closer that you get to God, you start having them Stranger Things moments. You start having Stranger Thing moments, X-File moments, and that Doctor Who moments where you look up at the billboard and say exactly. You just ask God something, you look up there and your answer is there, and you take a picture so you can remember, so you can always look back at it. And then you look back at the billboard and it ain't got the same thing. Same thing happens. You go outside, and as soon as you go outside, you see a van or a work truck go by exactly what you needed to see. And you take a picture of it, and then you look back again and it's gone before it leaves. You like, wait a minute. Or somebody come up in you and read you like a book and you don't even know them. You like, okay, God is all over this. Or your email, how it happens to me a lot, my email subject. The subject of the email, I have my whole answer. I'll be like, oh. Okay, got you. I just asked God something to get the answer just like that. Oh, and don't forget about my other two books that are already on the New York Times bestseller list. Mindset Matters with Jack Canfield and Influence and Impact with Chris Voss. Okay, no matter what your background, God don't care about your background. God knows everything, all the hairs on your head, and if you don't have any hairs on your head, God knows the peach fuzz on your head if your hair is shaved clean. Okay. Notebooks and journals for all, coloring books that help in meditating, recalibrating the mind. You'll see the link to the podcast with the women leveling up that was done in May. You'll see links where I was at on featured in different magazines September, October, December, and January. I placed my new link to my own personal bookstore. I'm excited about the venture. I got a lot of stuff on Amazon, but my special journals that help you walk through your one-on-one in life when you running up against a system or you running up against something that you can't make sense out of. You get to walk through it on your own, step by step. There are some freebies there just for you. I added a link of 105 spiritual laws. There's only 7 in the Kabbalah Initiate book, but there's 12 in another. Said God is not an author of confusion, so I did some research. Found out it is 105 spiritual laws. Time out. Even though it's 105 spiritual laws, we are no longer underneath the Mosaic law. We're now underneath love and grace. When Jesus came, you could say that Jesus was an archetype. You could say he was a prophet. You could say he didn't even exist. But it's mighty funny after he left. Because see, Jesus didn't come up with Christianism. He didn't come up with that. The organization came up with that. The Catholic Church came up with that. Jesus came here with the disciples and it was called the way. Okay? And it was to open up your mind and what we're going through now. You know how we waking up and we see it? That's what Jesus was teaching. But he was teaching it in parables. So those who got it, got it. Those who didn't, okay. That's why I don't even get upset when I don't get many views or anything like that. I used to, but then I said, you know what? Who sees it needs to see it. Who don't. And that's what it is, because I'm doing the will of God. And the people that see it need to see it. So, first thing he gave us was love, and then he gave us grace. And he showed us how to love the unlovable. How do you do that? You put up a boundary. Boop. They know what they did. You know what they did. We ain't got to hash that out. It's already taken care of. And then the disciples asked, how many times do I forgive my brother? And they said 7 times. Jesus said no. 7 times 70. That's 490 times for the saint in discretion. Then Jesus said, remember the Lord's Prayer. Forgive my debts as I forgive my debtors. So let's go through this. Love. Boom. How you love the unlovable. First of all, you forgive yourself. I forgive me because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know. I've been doing this all my life, and I thought this was okay because I was following the rules of my ancestors and my mother and father and the other adults I saw in my life. Now I'm finding out this is no longer correct, and I'm changing my life now. Then you forgive them. You don't forgive them for them. You forgive them for you, or you're going to be in quicksand and heavy cemented cement, meaning the system can get a hold of you and you up out of here. So you forgive them and you say, Father, you know what? I forgive them. You can say Father, Mother, Mother, Father, however you like. There's no gender in the spirit realm. And you can break it down. You can say, I completely forgive them. I release them. I call all my energy back from our interactions. And I release nothing but cleansing and purifying energy on them. Or I release them in love and I'm going forward. And then grace. Grace is God's willingness to get involved with human affairs or pull you up out of the ditch that you in. If you like me, I told God, look, if I get into a situation down here and I'm on deep cover, come and get me out of this situation. God said, say less because I'm going to come and get you. I said, well, thank God. He said, I don't put too much in you. I said, thank you. Just like we have the 10 commandments. It's really 613 commandments. And you can find that when you go ahead and get you a copy of the Torah, the Kamash, or the Tanakh. Okay, once you get a copy, you will know. Okay, and it reads from the back to the front. All right, that's just how they read their Bibles. And when you put it against the Old Testament of the Genesis to Deuteronomy, you're going to see some stuff that you don't see in the regular Bible. Because a lot of stuff was taken out. You see what I'm saying? So, that's what I'm talking about. In 100 AD and 180 AD and 200 AD, Lord Henry of the Catholic Church took out a lot of stuff on the Bible. So because those things were taken out, a lot of stuff was not taught or orated with the family because the elders was gone, and because the elders was gone, nobody was sending out the orations, right? So now they done took stuff out of the Bible. So what we gonna do? Right. What you gonna do? Things are gone. So let's talk about that. So God told the Israelites, there's no way possible that you can keep 613 laws every day for the rest of your life without me. They said, yes, we can. Us and our children. Okay, that was the first time. I said, I didn't like that because you put me in something I ain't had no business with. Because I didn't ask for this. And then the fifth time they did it, okay, the king was getting ready to execute Jesus. And so the king said, who do you want to release? Barabbas or Jesus? And they said Barabbas. Barabbas was a serial killer. Ted Bundy. Okay. Jack the Ripper. I'm talking about all of them. Call them all out. That's what he was. They want that back on the street. Okay, because the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the religious leaders said, we ain't gonna release Jesus. Okay, let him stay in there. And it was part of the prophecy. It needed to happen. So the king said, well, I wash my hands of this. I don't have nothing to do with this. This man is innocent. They said, fine. Put it on us and our children. Wait a minute. I ain't having nothing to do with that. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want nothing to do with that. So that was 5 times. Okay. And the last time was a doozy. Because you see, and you put that on executing Jesus. I didn't ask for that. But see, Jesus took care of it. But again, in 180 AD and 200 AD, they took that stuff out of the Bible. So if they took that stuff and they burnt down the churches, everything, child, they did everything to bring back they pagan gods. Okay. Yeah. Excuse me, confirmation bird. And so they get on us about African culture, but that is where they got received most of the stuff that they talk about in the Bible. That's where they get it from. So whenever you read the Bible, you're reading actually excerpts from the African religion. Just so you know. Okay? Alright. Because they don't make anything, but they take a lot. Honey, just so you know. Because we know everything, but we don't know anything. Okay? Because we have access to it. Ephesians 3:1, it's in the spirit realm. We have access to it, but we don't know everything. Okay? This keeps us from attachments as we go through each level in the lesson. I had to go through one of them today and release some stuff. Okay. Talk to me about Jesus Thoth and Issue. Speaking of Issue, he is with the African culture. Okay? Don't forget about the Adjective PDF along with your 400 values PDF. You put them together and you change your whole Sims character to this Jacob Promoter game. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter and the GC updates for the upcoming events. Don't forget to look at the school app and come on over and visit with me. Just got things started, so come and visit with me. I was inducted into the new class of Who's Who and Influential Women and Women Worldwide of 2025. God was on a roll for the last quarter of 2025, and I received it all. I was not going to say I'm not worthy. And look what I received in 2017. I was helping women. I was with my nonprofit, Refuge Women's Transition Center. I wore a shirt last night. And I was bringing women and teenage girls out of the sex industry. Out of sex trafficking in the sex industry. And I had a lot of help, but then all of a sudden my help left and went somewhere else. And I was like, it's fine. Let them. When people want to go, you let them go. Then I was helping teenage girls that came out and said they were LGBTQAI to their family. And they came out and said they were pregnant. Their families kicked them out. And I was like, we're in the wrong state for that. We need to put them somewhere where they're safe. And so I put them in a children's center or I let them stay where I was at. Okay. The ones that stay where I was at learn how to cook, clean, and get their, do basic stuff. And then I helped people that was in domestic violence and women, and we lost 2 women because they went back more than once. You can only do but so much for people, and everybody's addicted to something. That's why I don't judge. People are addicted to eating right. Some people are addicted to going to the gym. Some people are addicted to weed. Some people are addicted to cigarettes. Okay, good or bad. People are addicted to stuff, and I don't judge, because if I judge them, I gotta judge me. And then I assisted people who lost everything in house fires and house floods. Okay. And everybody knew I had a nonprofit, so they were always giving me stuff for free. I didn't have to pay for none of this stuff. It was always given to me for free. And my house was overrunning, so I went ahead and opened up a storage unit to put the stuff in. And I would clean the clothes and everything, and I would use the Mr. Clean for the shoes and stuff to clean it up, because people was giving me like old school Air Jordan. They was like beat up, but I would take them and I would clean them up and put the white paint and everything on to make them look good. So when the kids got them, because they was like teenager shoes, so when the kids got them, they, they wouldn't get teased in school, because I know how that feels. And I know how it feels to be homeless. So because of that, why would I give somebody something? Okay. There are things that you do differently because you've been through something than someone who hasn't. And I asked them how many bedrooms you need, and they would tell me, and I said, only get what you need because somebody else is coming. Don't be greedy. And then I would give them, because sometimes when we see stuff, we just want it because we see it, and sometimes you just got to help people, okay? So that's a poverty spirit. And sometimes you got to help people because they just lost everything, and sometimes they're not in their right mind, and sometimes you got to help them. So then, I made sure they received toiletries, and the women received the menstrual toiletries, and they also received fingernail polish and fingernail polish remover, just for when they felt like, when they come down, that they have what they need, so they wouldn't be, because when you come down off that shock, now you're like, okay, we lost everything, but I still want to be cute. You got something that you can call your own because you just lost everything. And then I also gave them cards. I went to the store and got cards that were refillable, so I put $20 on so they could get bras, underwear, t-shirts, whatever they needed for right now. Because yes, the Red Cross was assisting, but they needed stuff right now. They didn't have no underwear, they had nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just start over with that. And then I helped this family for Thanksgiving. They found me, and so I went and assisted them for Thanksgiving. And I made sure that I catered them with honey baked ham. That is my go-to. So I catered them with honey baked ham. And then I gave them $150 worth of groceries. So when she started back looking for a job, she wasn't stressed about groceries because she had children. Then she told me about some other people. So then I put their name in and pulled them out. They had special needs kids. So I went back to honey baked ham because they got some of everything. They got ham, chicken, turkey, and tofurkey. So they got everything that you need. All right. So I went back and got what they needed. And then I also gave them $150 worth of groceries and 2 gifts for the children. And then I also sent 2 women for 3 to 6 months of therapy. And I think it was either $250 or $150 worth of groceries. You have to look on my website at Refuge Women's Transition Center and see. God said, whatever you do in private, I reward you in public. And God is faithful, and I'm thankful for everything. I am. Don't forget to look at the link to receive 25% off your first order. This is the company I use along with All Natural Remedies. When I was given a diagnosis of breast cancer in 2017, they told me I only had 6 months to live. And I was like, the devil is a lie. They was like, he's all over here. And I was like, the devil is a lie. And they was like, don't you see it? I said, I see it, but if I agree with it, I'm gone. And so I use natural things for my backyard, 100% Silver Shield, a naturopathic doctor, the Dr. Sebi diet, and basically staying focused and watching what was coming out of my mouth. Because the words that come out of your mouth are life and death. That comes from you. You make those decisions. It's Proverbs, I think it's 4:32 or it's 4:23. It's one of them. Child, let me tell you. So the doctor was they were gaslighting me, trying to get me to do something. Let me tell you something. If anybody gaslight you, don't trust that. Don't put your life in the hands of somebody that's gaslighting you, because you might not wake up. So I said, nah, the devil is a lie. I'm not going to do that. And so they said, what? I said, I bind up every disease, every germ, every bacteria, every growth, every tumor, every parasite, and I send it back to the pit of hell. I loose the blood of Jesus, and I loose the hand of God, and I take full responsibility of my life. When you start taking full responsibility of yourself, God will take care of you. I said, I ate the food. Yes, they poisoned the food, but I didn't know that. But I'm taking full responsibility of myself, and I'm going forward. And so the doctor said, what you doing? I said, I'm putting my order in, so when I come back with my testimony, you know what happened. And did. So I went home, started talking to God. God said, call the naturopathic doctor, did that. Pulled down a list of everything that Dr. Sebi ever said about being alkaline. Pulled down a fruit and vegetable list. Showed the naturopathic doctor, said, that's great. But some of this on this list, because you already have this in your body and we're fighting against it, some of this is going to turn to acid in your body because of your blood type. So we're going to scratch some of this stuff off again. What is your blood type? Don't look at me. What is your blood type? Live by that. Yeah. Excuse me, and confirmation and how your body responds when you put certain things in your body. Pay attention to that. Are you itching? Are you scratching? Are you swelling? What's going on when you eat certain food? Pay attention to that. Even write it down. Write down everything that you ate, and then the next day, eat everything that you just ate, but eat it slowly. Eat it separately and see which one is setting it off. Okay, sometimes you gotta do that. Okay. Because I had an allergy test, and they was skin allergy test. They were like, "No, you good." And I'm like, "Nah." Some also, I had to do my own test. Okay. Yeah. Plus, my naturopathic doctor, when I put my hand down, told me that too. Okay. So let me tell you something. Take care of yourself for you, because you got to remain here. Okay. Ain't nobody going to be here. You. And so I went ahead and was eating what she said, and my ancestors said, get that dandelion, that morning glory. You can, okay. That wild scallions. And it smells like onions because it is. It's wild scallions. Our ancestors grew up on that. You know why they grew up on that? Because they was given scraps back in the day. So while they was given scraps, they was surviving. So they lived off the land. When they said they ate off the land, they really did. And then they got poke salad. Poke salad, it looked like lettuce and cilantro had a baby together. And it's serrated around the edges. In this country, they sell it here as cilantro. And it is delicious. It has like a nutty flavor to it. You got to try it for yourself. And I put it on top of spinach underneath that jasmine rice. The jasmine rice wilted it. And when it wilted it, what it did was it allowed, child, it allowed for the chlorophyll to still go down into my body and still be fresh and not be cooked. Okay. And then I put zucchini and squash and red onion, cancer fighting agents, and I made sure that they still had a crunch. And I had red, orange, and yellow bell peppers. Made sure they still had a crunch. Why? Because it's important. Because that's how I'm gonna get my vitamins in me. Okay? Because your food needs to be your medicine, or your medicine will, or your food needs to be your medicine, or your medicine is gonna be your food. You can be taking 40 pills trying to figure out what's going on. Okay? You do what's right for you. I did what was right for me because I love me. I like looking in the mirror. Again, do what's right for you. Psalms 91, 1 through 6 NLT. Those that live in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty. God is good all the time. This I declare about the Lord. He alone is my refuge and is my place of safety and is my God and is. And I trust him. And I do. For he will rescue me from every trap and did, and protect me from every deadly disease and did. He will cover me with his mighty feathers. He will shelter me with his mighty wings. He is faithful to his promises. God's promises are yes and amen every single day of the week. The thing is, if we hit a pause, that's because there's some up the street. There's a crossroad coming up the street, and God see a trap set. Because he see a trap set, he said, look, I know you want to go this way, and this is the easy route, but what we're going to do is we're going to go this way. We're going to go this way. And it's going to be a little minute before we get back around the way you're going, and it's going to seem like we going off kilter, but we're not. You're going to learn some things going this way, and everybody else is going that way. They're going to run into some stuff. It's easy, but I'm trying to avoid all of that. We're going to go this way. And I said, okay, let's go. All right. And then God says, what I'm going to need you to do is, what do you want? And I tell him, he said, wait a minute, I'm a big guy. I don't do little stuff. So don't come with me no little stuff, because you can do the little stuff on your own. I said, say less. I go big. And then God said, okay, every day I need you to do something small. Every day to line up with what you said you wanted. I said, well, say less. And every time I say less, I'll be looking at God like this. I promise you. My armor and my protection. I'm not afraid of the terrors of the night, nor the bullets that fly at day. Okay. I do not dread a disease that stalks in darkness. Why? David told us in Psalm 23, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, my rod and staff, who knew my spine and shoulder to shoulder was my cross. Jesus said, pick up your cross daily and follow me. Little we know it was in our body the whole time. And then on top of that, the top of the rod and the staff, the top of it, you pull the sheep in. The bottom of it is sharp, so you hit them to get the hard-headed ones to flow they want to. I said, oh, you had that for me sometime, huh? I told her how I said, I ain't gonna lie. I'm hard-headed sometimes. I'm bullheaded. Can't help it. All right. But I'm listening better to God. Me and him on a good game. Okay. And then it says, my cup runneth over. Man, that is overflow of infinite wealth on every level in your life. Infinite. Because you pour out, God will pour in. You pour out, God will pour in. You quit pouring out, God will be like, okay, I ain't got nothing to give you. All right. And then it says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Isaiah 53 says, God will send the angels to go before us to set us sun and make the crooked places straight, and God is always our rear guide. Why is he our rear guide? Making sure don't nothing come up and pop up on us on our six, making sure we get exactly what we asked for, the goodness and the mercy. And we will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I am the house of the Lord. God is staying right there. Okay. And because God is staying right there, guess what's happening? I will be the house of the Lord forever, even when I leave this body. Why? Because I've already made the Lord my habitation. Wherever you made the habitation is where the frequency you gonna stand in. Okay. Nor the disaster that strikes at midday. Okay. Because what we seeing going on right now is the frequency that the majority of people are having. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because it'll help my channel. Hand over your heart. For the affirmation, I am not society script. I am my own definition. I am not of this system, but a flame from God, source, the divine. I don't stress about what I can't physically fix. I let go of that attachment. I monitor the use of my own energy. If you don't monitor your energy, somebody else is going to come by and be like, well, since you're not using your energy, I guess I will. You have all of these ideas and not doing anything with them. I'll take them. There are times in life that we are going to make mistakes. When we do, it's important how we handle the process of the mistake. What I mean is, do you handle it like the old you, or do you find new inventive ways to do things in your life? If you would usually get bent out of shape in the past, how do you handle it now? Is your head clear to think, or do you beat yourself up for being human? Because we're all human. Nobody's perfect. The part about being human is mistakes are part of the probability. You're not always going to get it right, and nobody's perfect. The fun part now is to see how you handle those mistakes. That's when you take that 2 to 3 deep breaths, 2 or 3 of those, before making a decision. Even if that decision, you get the opportunity to walk away from something you really want. It will be okay. Things happen, and if no one lost a life, we can always go back and fix it. When you keep a level head about yourself, anything is possible. Forgive yourself for missing the small context clues, because we all miss them every now and then. Keep going on your journey. We work so hard to be perfect. I'm going to tell you a story about me. I grew up in a household where you only receive love if you were perfect, if you got all A's on your report card. And so I had siblings that would work so hard to make sure they had all A's and B's. And one time I got a C, and I was like, why can't, and it started comparing me, why can't you be like so-and-so, and why can't you be like so-and-so? And it was just like the worst. Okay. As a kid, it was like the worst, because I just wanted to receive the love. But it was like I had to act and put on a show to receive love. I'm learning. I don't have to do that. I don't have to be perfect to get love. I don't have to put on a show to get love. And if I had to do that, you can kick rocks, because I don't need to be there. So we work hard on being perfect in every way that we put so much pressure on ourselves, with high blood pressure and all this stuff. Remember to think for yourself. And if those thoughts lead to mistakes, just back up, to do the cha-cha and back up. The mistake happened, and do your best to fix what happened. Okay? That's in your thing. Because if you don't fix it and we change the timeline, you're going to remain in that same level. But if you fix it, now you fix your alignment and you keep going up, or you stay in that. Don't nobody want to stay in that? The devil is alive. I promise the world won't fall apart before you because you made a mistake. The system in the world around us wants us to feel lackluster because we didn't see all the pieces. Sometimes you can't see all the pieces at the time. Again, It's okay as long as you didn't hurt yourself or someone else. Because see, what happens is this. We'll go and go, and God will have us jumping. And one time, this is me, I jumped too far, and I said, oops, I gotta come back. I jumped too far. I did right on those jumps, but I went too far. And to come back, it's okay. It's okay. Again, as long as I don't hurt myself or others, we're good. If you bruise your ego in the process, it will be okay. You just shared something that's been in your lineage forever about looking good on the outside, but on the inside it's a cesspool. The paperwork is good. You look good. You're getting the accolades, but on the inside you're full of envy, strife, anger, bitterness. Don't nobody got time for that. We don't work too hard to come up out of that. Allow your ego to heal and be gentle with yourself. And then if you need to cry, cry, because it's always a grieving process to let go of something. But sometimes it's not like a hard grieving process. It's just like, and God, like, I got you. I got something better for you. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to trip. You're doing new things in new ways, and you're definitely going to make mistakes. It's a part of the process. It's how you handle them now that shows how far you come up to this point. I was telling myself, you don't have to be perfect to get or gain love. You're okay. You made a mistake. It's all right. I'm worthy of it all right now. I don't have to prove who I am. I don't. I know who I am. Things happen, and how we respond or act when they do is how far we've grown. Things are going to happen outside of your control. That's what life is. Going to throw curveballs. Okay? Life throws curveballs, and sometimes we make them, and sometimes we overlook small details. Again, no one needs to be perfect. Allow what is to be as you determine what is the best decision to make next. No one can do it for you. Only you know what's best for you. Others can only speculate and judge because they're on the outside looking in. They don't know. If they had your same life, most of them would be in a corner sucking on their thumb in the fetal position. I'm just saying. Remember this. Everyone is going to have their own day. When they handle it as its old or new self. Only time will tell in growth. I choose inner peace instead of outside validation. That's just me. Symptoms today. Lots of breathing and grounding. Because like right now, my crown is like going crazy. Vivid dreams, exciting ideas, and writing them down to keep up with them. My crown and third eye was going wide open and strong headaches. The headaches went away, but it's still, and I don't get headaches. So I knew something was up. Went outside to enjoy the sun and just closed my eyes to enjoy the sun shining on me while doing breath work when I went out with Bella earlier this morning because the weather completely changed. Learning that even though I already know I don't have to be perfect to gain love, reminders are welcomed. Understanding sometimes and taking risks, they may not land as you wish, and it's okay to back on up. Exercise today, I went on a walk. The energy was so high and so strong. I was like, I gotta get this energy out. So I went on a walk and I was like, we're gonna have to walk a little longer to get some of this energy out because the energy has been so strong. And this was so funny. Came back, the power was out on the island. I had already saved all my files and my data, so I just relaxed. And I was going to work, but life had other plans. So the power went out around about 10:01 and came back on about 4:56 p.m. And most of the day I've been like freezing. And then right before I got on, I was like on fire. I was like, okay, what's going on? So I said, yes, I'm going on. Woo! Everyone gets the opportunity to do their own work and see things in their own time. It's hard when you love folks. And God says, walk away. Woo! But in their own timing, okay, keep going. Your eyes will be swollen from tears. You hear me? They get the opportunity to decide just like you did. But I'd rather for my eyes to be swollen in tears than for me to be stuck in the same cycles. I know you care for them. But what are they showing you? Are you really paying attention? Some want to only connect with you when they feel you growing. Let them go to learn their own lessons in their own way. They will hold you down from moving forward. Just let go. It'll be okay. God has you and them. Trust that. Everyone must work out their own salvation with fear and trembling. Trust in God. Don't carry somebody else's problems in the battles. That is not your job. You are way down. Bagged lady. Read Philippians 2 and 12 for yourself. Save yourself and keep going. That is Erica Badu. That just came up. Okay. James 1:19 through 21 NLT. Don't allow anyone to take your power or your energy. Understand this, my dear brothers and sisters. You got to live and learn. Brothers and sisters. Or else you will get burned. Okay. You must, I forgot the name of the artist. You must all be quick to listen and slow to speak and slow to get angry. Human anger doesn't produce the righteousness that God desires, but righteous anger said we got to do something and do it now. So get rid of all of the negative thinking and humbly accept the word that God has planted in your hearts, whatever that is, for it has the power to save your souls. Okay. Verses like the Quran 17:53 and 4:148 highlight the importance of speaking kindly, avoiding slander and gossip, and speaking the truth. Are we doing that? 2:254 emphasizes that it's not for creation that is under Allah to question Allah's decisions, which is better because, like God, it sits from a higher position and see from a higher perspective. It requires the believers to surrender to Allah's will, which is the message of faith and surrender to divine authority. We're doing the same thing, but we're fighting each other because of a label. Do we really know who we are? Because we're doing the same thing. It's time that we get into our studies, but let's break that down. We're doing the same thing if we're not focusing on the religion. Because if you're focusing on the religion, you may not be doing this. You may be doing something else that somebody told you to do instead of reading this for yourself. That's why it's important. If you have a sacred text and you go to any mosque or church or wherever you go, and someone reads that to you, write everything down that they read to you in those sacred texts, and when you get home, you read them to yourself. Because it's time to get into our studies wherever we're in. Pray, meditate, and find out who we really are. Because see, if you don't read it for yourself, they may be telling you some stuff hoodwink and bamboozling you and lying to you. And then when you read it for yourself, you're like, that ain't what that, that ain't what that, See, that's why it's important to read it for yourself. And have your own relationship. Be so secure when things come to steal your joy, you bounce back quicker every time. Because I find myself bouncing back quicker like, damn. I'm still saying, you know why I'm still saying? Because it's my birthright, number one. It's my spiritual birthright, number two. And it's my blood birthright, number three. I'm worthy of love. You know why I'm worthy of love? Because I was born of a womb of a woman. And I'm alive. That's my birthright. I am worthy of a life I love. I'm so worthy of that. If I don't love my life, I can take that adjective and that 400 page PDF, put them together, and change my whole Sims character. I am worthy of a rounded, wealthy life. I am so worthy of infinite wealth and abundance in all levels of my life. And if I don't have it, I can look up in a sacred text and figure out what I need to do. I'm worthy of a dream that is in my heart. Because if it's in here, God is in here, so it's going to come to pass. Oh, it will come to pass. Come on, Jack in the car. Ooh. I release timelines that are no longer for me. Let me tell you why. I'm not angry with you. I'm not mad with you. I'm not frustrated with you. I'm not bitter with you. I don't have no animosity with you. You did what you did. And usually I would just be like, oh, it's alright. But this, I picked up on it. I was like, nah, dog. We good. Okay, I just cut the cord. And, again, I don't have no bitterness. I send nothing but cleansing and purifying energy to you. It's just we are now Abraham and Lot. You go your way, I'm going to go mine. Amy said two can only walk together if they agree. And we don't agree no more. So I'm going to allow you to go your own way as I go mine. I don't have no art with you. Just I'm done. I'm done with being stabbed while I'm working and I'm getting in the back. I don't have time for that. The Judases allow me to grow, But once I find out who you are, you got to go. You don't stay with me. That's not how it works. So what happened to Judas? He did what he did, and then all of a sudden he was gone. See what I'm saying? There's a message in there. I release the timelines that require me to shrink. I won't be quiet so you can shine. I have a mind of my own too, and I'm going to use it. And if I need to be quiet around you, child, we don't need to be around each other. You have a great life. Because it's all not like for you. Because I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not rushing or placing pressure on myself. I'm just open for clear communication and wisdom on my next move in stillness. Do you know what happens when you get in stillness, child? Honey, you get so much wisdom from God. I walk forward lighter, clearer, and deeply supported. I am never alone. I have my ancestors, angels, and God. That is a threefold cord that's not easily broken. I'm so secure knowing even if I'm walking by myself, I'm never truly alone. Because if my ancestors ever come out them bushes, that's because they got something with you and your ancestors. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Don't look at me. Because I don't know all the ins and outs of it. The angels always bring me in something amazing that causes my heart to light up, and it happened today on the walk. It was so many beautiful things in nature, just so many beautiful things. And there was so much synchronicities. It was everywhere. I was like, okay. It was hard to keep up. I'm aware enough to pause, breathe, and sit still for the next move, or just know that I am loved in every way that love can show itself. I am loved so much. Man, there's 101 million ways that God is showing how he loves us. Are you able to receive it? People go out of their way to do me good because of the favor of God on my life. Rules, laws, regulations, and any red tape is removed from me. It is said we don't usually do this. They just can't help it. I can't help it either. But if God say, my ancestors, my intuition say let go, or my ancestors say, my hands is up. I have miracles every day, and uncommon blessings find me without me even searching for them. They just fall upon me because I'm aligned. Once you start lining up what God asked you to do, God start throwing stuff at you. And you can ain't ask for that. God was like, this is because I love you. I don't consent in any energy control. I am grounded, safe, and fully in control of myself, untouchable, and fully sovereign in myself. All cords are removed from me. Cut, cut, snip, snip, burn, burn. And I sever every cord. We're Abraham and Lot. We don't agree on nothing. I'm worthy of the dreams and everything my heart desires. You know why I'm worthy of that? Because if God put it in here, if I keep going, I'm going to run smack dab right into it. I allow clear thinking to find me without fighting for it. I don't have to fight you. I don't have to compete with you. I don't have to take what's yours. I don't have to gossip about you to tear down your name. You know why? Because everything that's mine is tailor-made to me. And it's funded by God. I'm worthy of seeing all my dreams come true while seeing the light in darkness at any moment. If I could come up here and see the situation from a different perspective, child, my life is changed in seconds. I saw this somewhere and I said, okay, all things come back to me in perfect, mature timing for my highest outcome and for the good of all. Because if I win, you win. If you win, I win. My nose been itching because God's been talking to me today. I had to slow down today. Because when we was in the darkness, I had to slow down because when the lights is out, it's just you and God. And I was sitting here just talking to God about stuff, and I was like, yeah. My nose kept itching. I said, I see. Money comes back to me multiplied on every dollar that was spent. Double, triple, quadruple, 100-fold on every dime that was spent. Everything that was taken, that I don't know was taken, and everything that my ancestors left behind that they didn't get the chance to enjoy. Okay. Cause my ancestors went from American Indian to freedman to Negro to black, to color to black to African American. Ain't that something? I'm willing to open space for the things I truly want by being gentle with myself. I'm intentional with love for myself. I saw this on Google. And I said, okay, Google, it's mine now because I done added some stuff to it. So I added some seasoning, okay, and then I add some hot sauce. Spirit. If it's in my highest good, I remove all energy that doesn't belong to me from my energy field, and I send it back to the rightful owner, cleansed and purified, no matter where we met originally. Universe, world, timeline, dimension, realm, space dust, space rock. I sever the cord of connection. The lessons have been learned, and I release you to find your own way. I call all my energy fragments back to me now. I'm like Magneto. I'm a magnet for my stuff. I am free. I am free. I am free. I am free. You hear me? I am free. I now release all energies, traumas, patterns, and anything that my ancestors left behind that's not in alignment with my highest good across all timelines and dimensions and realms. I take everything they left behind, I take it in. I am free, I am free, I am free. I sit in peace, and I trust the process, and I don't rush the process. Can we wait in silence? Don't nobody like the silent part. You know why we don't like the silent part? Because that's dangerous. Because that means we taking a test. I'm doing speaking engagements and podcasts that bring transformation. Signature topic, helping visionaries reconnect, reinvent, go through the rebirth process, and rise with confidence. We're all visionaries with our own personal dreams. It's just we forgot about them, living life and surviving. Yeah. Just pull it out of the back seat, put it in the front seat, give it CPR, and speak to your dreams and speak to yourself like you would your best friend. Teaching individuals how to return to themselves, quiet the noise on the inside, and live boldly on their own terms, guided through mindset shifts, emotional release, and soul level clear understanding, helping us all navigate reinvention, the rebirth process, and setting boundaries, and rising into our purpose with confidence, because confidence is the missing substance to faith. Once you get that confidence, man, you unstoppable. Can't nobody stop you no more. Hi, my name is RenettaCheston, the owner and founder of Life Success Results LLC, Soul Igniter, Trauma Overcomer, Holistic Spiritual Strategist. I work with the whole being from my level of training and education, mind, spirit, soul, and body. I have a bachelor's and master's degree in healthcare to understand and comprehend public and mental health. If you have a public health problem, you have a mental health problem. They just lost everything and they're in complete shock. How would you feel? Think about it for a second. Massage therapy, Reiki and sound healing, holistic practitioner, where we pull out all the impurities from the rooter to the tutor. Human design practitioner, where we go back to the beginning, find out your purpose, come back, look at that generational baggage and trauma, and we start pulling it out. When I was given the task of having uncomfortable conversations with others, I knew then that my path would be a little different. Probably people would be a little standoffish until they started doing their own work. But I didn't let that stop me. I asked myself uncomfortable questions every day to get out of old patterns, and it's not always easy, but I did that today as I was walking myself out of an old pattern. I do the work every day, and it's not always easy or pretty, but I wake up to confront the areas in me in love that need a facelift so I can go forward. We do all this work on the outside. What are we doing on the inside? What will you do? What are you afraid of losing? It is that once you see that colonialism has played and imperialism has played everybody, you won't know what to do if you're not fighting each other anymore. Because that's all we know how to do, fight because of the labels. How about we find ways to have conversations that cause a pause, to see things differently in all areas. This will cause us to quit blaming everyone else for our problems and see where we might have truly missed it somewhere. That's what I did today. We can only meet people where we have truly met ourselves. Remember that next time you say you want a real relationship, that requires a whole mask to come off and go over here and not bring your representative and be a little vulnerable. We have many adults who were never taught how to feel safe. So they seek safety and validation on the outside of themselves because of a plethora of challenges that occurred in childhood processes. So I ask you, what emotion from your childhood pushed you in a corner and you made a whole bunch of vows about what you were not going to do and who you were going to be. I would never do that based on how they treated me. I'll never be that. I hate them. I hate her. They should have did better. They abandoned me. He abandoned me. They left me. They did this. And that was true. However, when you release them vows out, you get an opportunity to go back and pull up every vow. Renounce them and bring them up because they are in the ground. And until you renounce them, you will not be able to go forward. You'll try to go forward and it's like you have something pulling you back to bring you back to where you used to be instead of allowing you to go forward. See, the vows that we all made is playing out on the big stage. Because what you see playing out on the big stage is really the big monster, but all of us have a piece of that monster on the inside of us if we're truly honest. If we're truly honest. Some of us have racism, some of us have bigotry, some of us have, a lot of us have that, even myself. I will look at somebody and say, well, I don't like that right there. And I'm like, well, why did you judge them and you don't even know them? See what I'm saying? You judge before you get to know people. And I had to check myself. What are you doing? You don't even like that when it happens to you. These are the conversations I have with myself on a daily basis. Because sometimes you forget. Because those simple prejudices come up because you was brought up a certain way. And so when they come up, you get to grab them and say, wait a minute. While we get to protest and speak our minds, are we helping that little girl or little boy on the inside of us heal? That's your true shadow. That's that little girl and little boy trying to get out of that basement, banging on the door, let me out, I got something to say. I've been commissioned to aid in the process of sharing how I overcame everything meant to keep me from coming into my true identity. I had to believe in myself and God. See, God is in me, but I had to find me before I could find God. What does that mean? Why are you doing this? Why is that hurting you like that? Why does that bother you that way? Why are you triggered? Why did you just judge somebody you didn't even know them? You don't even like that. The different prejudices we have. We're taught God's on the outside of us, but God is on the inside of us waiting to be tagged into our battles. 2 Corinthians 10, Ephesians 6 says the same thing. We're fighting principalities, rulers of the darkness, and spiritual wickedness in high places. These are those negative thinking that has gone on for so long in society that is old as apple pie. We have prejudice, we have racism, and all of us have prejudice, whether we want to answer to it or not. When we have racism, we have sexism, we have every ism. If you can think of it, it's here. And that's what Jesus was talking about with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the religious leaders. He said, you have made your traditions to make the sacred text of no effect. And that's what has happened with the church. They have all these traditions that they have watered down the word. They keep saying some stuff over and over and over, and the more you say stuff, the more you water it down. And when you water it down, you lose the respect or the high honor for it. This is what every ascended master had to fight against. The mindsets of us who complain but don't want to do the work or don't know how to do the work. And it causes a dip in morale because most can't get out because it's ancestral and it's generation. It's been on this planet for so long. So to get out, it requires one to get uncomfortable, to get past the plateau of complacency or complicitness. Or this is how we've always done it. Oh, we need to throw that in the trash, but there's so many more ways to do it. If we come together, we can come up with some decisions together. When are we going to respect each other? Yes, we know the FBAs was here first. Okay. We also know that everyone's life is important. At the same point, if people are not willing to fight for themselves, no one is going to do the work for you. What are you willing to bring to life? What dream are you willing to bring to life? Everyone has one. Bring yours back. Remember, if it hurts people, you're not dealing with people no more. You're dealing with God. What do you really believe? It's time to operate in it now because the world needs you. You can change the world with one thing that you do that lights up. Superstar. Fight for your dream while hurting none. We've learned a lot in the last few weeks. Do what is right for you. No one lives your life but you. Be sovereign, not controlled. Think for yourself. And if you protect those that can't or don't know how to protect themselves, do so. Bring your dream to life no matter what you see in front of you. May the force be with you as you go, and the power of God be in your heart as you move. Okay. There are some freebies and a link from my podcast with the women's leveling up done in May. And then 3 magazines I was covering in September, October, January, and December. Look at the description below to find the things that truly light you up and leave everything else behind. I cannot wait to talk to you soon. Remember, I placed my own personal bookstore down there as well. There we go. My books incorporate the essence of God. If you want to feel the presence of God, read In the Garden with the Father, Understanding True Intimacy. Okay. Let's get this one. Page 86. Stop trying to figure out what's coming next. Rest in me. I've got this all figured out. I know you're wondering, okay, now what? Just rest in my presence. Trust me. Trust me. I'm wrapping you in my love with my loving arms. Rest in me. I can handle it. Rest. God is good. When I sent it, I was going to overlook it, and he said, don't even try. Why that made me laugh so hard, I don't know. Don't forget about my other 2 books, Befriending the Shadow, Unshakable, Peace, Unstoppable Change. Both of those are shadow activity books. Why? Because I was noticing with my inner child, as I was doing my inner child and my inner teenager cleansings and changing and my shadow work, and I was working with my inner child and my inner teenager a lot, and I said, God, I don't see the books. They say they are, but they don't have the stuff for the kid in you to have fun. And God was like, well, make it. I said, well, say less. So I made, so the book has a word of knowledge, and then it has exercises, and then you get a shadow question. Not so nice because it's going to be a mirror. Excuse me, confirmation work. When you get tired of looking inside the mirror, go towards the color pages. God asked me to keep the color pages between the ages of 5 and 10. Why? Because between the ages of 5 and 10, that is when most childhood wounding occurs. Although it can happen at a later time as well, but that's when most of it happens. Because the adults that are looking over us, they didn't have anyone to protect them, and they didn't know how to do it. That doesn't change anything. I didn't know how to do it, but I went with my intuition to figure it out. Okay, I went with my intuition. I don't know everything, but I said, this ain't gonna go down like this in front of me. This ain't how we playing this game. Y'all can do what you want, but this ain't we playing this game over here. Okay. And then after that, and after the coloring book, the color page, you get 4 pages of sketching, drawing, doodling. Write down your dreams, write down your visions. Why? Because the closer you get to God, you start having them Stranger Things moments. You look up at a billboard, it says it, you take a picture, you look on the phone, it has exactly what you look back at the billboard, it ain't what it said. And then a truck or a van go by your house, you take a picture of it because it says exactly what you need. As you keep watching it, you're like, wait a minute, it ain't the same thing no more. You look at the phone and it is what you saw. And you're like, okay. It's some Stranger Things moments. It's them X-File moments that people ain't gonna believe you because they gonna think you made it up. Because people now, they only believe what they see instead of seeing. They say seeing is believing instead of believe it before you see it. Because that's how God works. Believe it before you see it, then you can have it. And then it's just like on the emails, that always catches me off guard, but that's how God gets my attention. On the emails, it'll have the subject line. I look and I say, what? And I say, is that? And I use my sipping tool. I said, let me take a picture of this so I can keep this and put it in my journal. And then I look back at it, the subject line don't say that no more. I said, okay, ain't nobody gonna believe this. So yeah, stuff like that. Just things like that where God give you a wink and say, now you see, I'm paying attention. And then my other 2 books that are already on the New York Times bestseller list, Influence and Impact with Chris Voss, and Mindset Matters with Jack Canfield. Because it don't matter about your background. God don't care about your background. You know why? Because God knows all the hairs on your head, and if you don't have any hair on your head, God knows your peach fuzz. Okay. Notebooks and journals for all, coloring books that help in meditating and recalibrating the mind. I'm excited about this venture because even though I got a lot of stuff on Amazon, my special store has journals that helps you walk out of the darkness that you don't tell nobody about. That darkness that the people you told somebody about, people would think you was crazy. Yeah, that's what I deal with. That other stuff, I deal with that darkness because I was in a deep darkness. Some of it was from my ancestors, and some of it was placed on me. Dealing with the black man. Okay. Dealing with black magic and everything else. Everything that you could think of. That's what my journals are about. The stuff that nobody it will believe you if you tell them. They'll think you a little cuckoo, cuckoo. Don't forget about the link to the 105 spiritual laws that govern the earth. Remember, we're under love and grace to put up a boundary and keep it moving, okay? Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter for the juicy updates and the upcoming events. Okay? The Adjective PDF and the 400 Values PDF, put them together, change your whole Sims character to this janky promoter game because it's really a hologram. It's what you make of it because that's what I did. Look at my new link for the school app. I was just, I've gotten everything together. And come on and look at what I've done. Woo! Got one. I didn't do it. God did it. I just did the work, but God said, I got something for you. I said, well, show out then. So he said, well, let me. I said, well, do it then. Do it, 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 do it. Okay. So I was inducted into the new class at the last quarter of 2025. Who's Who, Influential Women, and Women Worldwide. And look what I received in 2017. My platform, Who's Who, from 2017. I was doing a lot of work in 2017 with my nonprofit, Refuge Women's Transition Center. And so I was bringing women and teenage girls out of the sex trafficking. Okay. And I had a lot of help, but I looked up, everybody was gone. Again, whenever people want to walk out of your life, you let them. Don't hold them back. Don't hold on to nothing. Okay. And then I was helping teenage girls that came out and told their families they were LGBTQAI or they was pregnant and their families kicked them out. And I said, we're in the wrong state for that. So I helped out. They either stay where I was at if I had room and I didn't have room. I would send them to the teen center where they could get counseling and therapy and everything that they needed all in one spot. And I checked on them until they was good and I was like, good. I can help them too. And then I was helping domestic violence women, and we lost 2 because they went back more than once, and there's nothing I can do. Once you get released from the program and you keep going back, then there's nothing that I can do because we're all addicted to something. Some people are addicted to going to the gym. Some people are addicted to eating right. Some people are addicted to smoking a cigarette. Some people are addicted to eating out. Some are addicted to smoking weed. Everybody's addicted to something, whether good or bad. I don't judge because if I judge them, I gotta judge me. Then also, I was helping people that lost everything in house fires or house floods. And because people knew I had a nonprofit, people was always giving me stuff. Just always giving me stuff. I never had to pay for anything. And so it was always in the house. And after a while, it just got so big, I said, I need a storage unit. And so I had beds and mattresses and clothes and shoes and stuff like that. And so then we had a huge, I was like 3 big apartment fires, and I had everything in there. I cleaned up the white shoes. I cleaned them up good. I got that Mr. Clean bar, that scrubber, and I cleaned it up real good. And I cleaned because people was giving me like old school shoes, but they was messed up, and I knew that a teenager was gonna come. They was like Jordans and stuff like that, and old school shoes like the retros. And I was like, well, let me clean these up and let me get the paint together and clean them up. And I was cleaning up shoes and everything, like business shoes. Because I was in the military, I know how to fit shine, so I was cleaning them up and getting them together. So, although that somebody else was like, I don't need them no more, the next person that got them, they was like, thank you. I needed some of these for work. Because they lost everything. You see what I'm saying? You starting over again. But just because you're starting over again, who wants trash? Nobody. And so I gave them like toiletry bags, and the women got the menstrual toiletry bags along with the fingernail polish and the fingernail polish remover, because once they sympathetic system calm down and their nervous system calm down, they can come back to themselves and paint their nails and feel good about themselves. You see what I'm saying? And gave them fingernail files and everything to file their nails and, you know, to feel good about themselves just for that moment because they lost everything. They didn't have anything. So at least they have something that's theirs until they get something else. And I gave them $20 gift cards that was refillable so they could go ahead and get the underwear and whatever they needed. Because yes, the Red Cross was assisting, but it's so much bureaucracy and red tape. Don't know how long that was going to take. So I was just doing what I saw in the community. There was a whole, I was fixing that part. You can look on my web page for that. And then I was helping out this family for Thanksgiving. She reached out. She saw my nonprofit. She reached out and said she needed assistance for Thanksgiving. I went ahead and found out what they needed. I always use Honey Baked Ham if I'm catering anything because they got everything in one spot. Okay. Find out what she wanted. Went ahead and got the Honey Baked Ham. Gave them $150 worth of groceries as well. Found out that other families were getting ready to get laid off from the job and put names in a poll, pulled them out. The two families made sure that their children received 2 gifts and then also made sure that they received Honey Baked Ham and $150 worth of the groceries. So while they're looking for another job, they're not stressed about putting groceries on the table as well. And then I helped out 2 women to go to therapy for 3 to 6 months. And then I gave them $150 or $250 for groceries. So while they was in therapy and working on themselves, they didn't have to worry about other stuff. And I'm just so thankful that I didn't use no fancy. I didn't use none of that. What I did was I put the stuff on my website, but I also didn't put the pictures of the women or the children because that was going to put me in danger, and I ain't had time for that. And God said, whatever you do in private, I reward you in public. You don't need all that fanfare. And I'm thankful that God is faithful, and I am thankful and grateful for it all. Don't forget to look at the link to receive 25% off your first order. This is the company I use along with All Natural Remedies for the diagnosis I received in 2017 in breast cancer. They said I had 6 months to live, and I said, "What you say now?" This was like the middle of the year, and I said, "What you say now?" And they said it again. I said, "The devil is a lie." They said, "Don't you see it? Don't you see it?" I said, "I see what you're saying, but I'm not going to agree with it because see, when you agree with it, you're gone. Ain't nobody got time for that." I like looking at myself in the mirror, and I know that make me vain, but everybody got time for that. So I said, I bind that up. I'm the healer protecting my health from sickness and disease. That comes from Isaiah 54 or 55. Okay? Read it for yourself. It's either 54 or 55 verse 15. He was bruised for my iniquity, and iniquity is the stuff you don't talk about, that jealousy and the envy. It's different than regular negative emotions. It's a little deeper. Because that's that stuff you hide. And you say you don't like, you ain't got it. Yeah, those them deep shadows, okay? It only come up when somebody does better than you and you get upset. That's what causes you to tear their name down. You don't mean no harm. Yeah. The Bible said that jealousy is as cruel as the grave. And there's been a lot of people that's left this earth because somebody was jealous or envious. I'm just saying. So getting back to the story. So then I told him, I said, the devil is a lie. I'm not going to receive that. So I said, I bind up every disease, every germ, every bacteria, every growth, every tumor, every parasite, and I send it back to the pit of hell. And I loose the blood of Jesus, and I loose the hand of God. And I said, I take full responsibility of myself. Because see, when you take responsibility of yourself, God said, oh, we got something to work with. Because you ain't blaming nobody else. Yes, they put poison in the food. Yes, they did all this stuff, and I didn't know it, but I ate the food, okay? Child, when dealing with me, they said, what you doing? I said, I'm putting my order in, so when I come back, you know what happened. I got my testimony, child, and then went on. Talked to God about it. God said, get that naturopathic doctor. I pulled down everything the doctor said he ever said about being alkaline. Pulled that list together, showed my naturopathic doctor. My naturopathic doctor said, this is a great list. This is great to start with. However, because of your blood type, there's some things that you cannot have on this list. Because your blood type is going to turn into acid in your stomach. And you already have this disease. We don't need that. We need you as alkaline as possible. So between 100% Silver Shield, the Dr. Sebi diet, my naturopathic doctor, and my ancestors, child, we was working with some Crisco, child. Then the ancestors got in and said, go outside, get that dandelions, get that morning glory. You can, if things get tight, you don't have to, okay, you don't have to dinero. All right. And then the wild scallions, because it is wild scallions. The grass in your backyard that smell like onions, it is wild scallions. It is. Our ancestors lived off that. Sure did. Our ancestors lived off that because they was giving scraps. Yes, honey. Remember when they said they live off the land? They weren't lying to you. They really lived off the land. They did. They lived off the land. Child, let's talk about it. And then the poke salad. Poke salad looked like lettuce and cilantro had a baby together and it's serrated around the edges. Child, it's so good. It's got a nutty flavor with it. Child, I put it all on top of that spinach. Underneath that jasmine rice. That jasmine rice was hot and it wilted it, but it still had that chlorophyll to go into my body and heal my inner organs. Yes, honey. Because I needed that. I needed that iron. I needed that A and C. Child. Then I added some beets. Honey, ain't nothing like regular beets to put inside your smoothie. Or that pickled beets to put on a salad, or just eat it on the side because it's full of iron. It's to help your blood. Oh my God, it's so much, child. And beets is just amazing right by itself. That's a whole nother thing, child. And let me tell you. And then I added seafood because I needed omega-3 oils because that helps your hair, your nails, and your skin and everything else. Okay. And then that second month, my naturopathic doctor said, I'm going to need you to add some red meat twice a month. I know you don't want to do it, but we on a time crunch. So we need to build up your white blood cells. We need to build up your hemoglobin. And we need to build it. Yes, I know. We need to build up your T cells. Yes, I know there are vegetables that we can eat. But we are on a tight rope. And we are on a time constraint. So we are trying to do something. And I said, well, say less. So, say less and started getting my life together. Okay, honey. Went back with a testimony and they gave me tests for like 3.5 years. I had to have tests every 6 months. Cause they didn't understand it. I didn't take nothing that they had. Nothing. They just, every time I came in, the doctor would just look at me like shaking, like, we don't even know what you did. And I told them and they still didn't believe me. But I did the research. That's how you got that tea. But I suggest you make your own, okay? Child, I'm so thankful to God that I'm still here. Glory be to God. Glory be to God, I'm still here. Glory be to God. I see it every day. Father God, I thank you that I'm still here. I thank you for loving me. I thank you for hugging on me. I thank you for keeping me. I thank you for correcting me. Yes, I thank you for the butt whippings. Because when you give me that butt whipping, guess what that means? Yeah. Excuse me, confirmation verse. That means I'm no longer Romans 1. That means you done put me in the corner and I'm supposed to figure it out on my own. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm listening. I'm not no hard head child. I'ma listen. I'm listening. Father God, I thank you for that. I thank you, God. And they told us that we were disenfranchised and we were the minority. No, we're not. We're not. That's why they made up all these laws for women to not be able to relieve themselves of the seed that's already in their bellies, because they already done. Most of black women that was born, or the FBAs that was born in the 50s and 60s and the early 70s before 73. Oh, y'all already made them sterile, so they can't. You did that without them even knowing, because you said they was impoverished and they didn't have a right to have ovaries. So you took them without anybody knowing. Yes, you took them without anybody knowing. You didn't even tell them until they were trying to have babies, and then they found out they didn't have either the ovaries or the uterus to carry the baby. How about that? That's a hot mess. And you wonder why the black community don't trust doctors. You wonder why the black women, FBA women, have been through some stuff at the hands of doctors. No medication and doing surgeries. My ancestors went through a lot. And then you said pull up by our own bootstraps, and then we did. And then you came over there and took the boots and everything else. And then God said, don't worry about it, go over there and get that bamboo, and the next time you take out an animal, go ahead and use the hide of that animal and go ahead and make you some shoes and shoestrings. We said, okay, say less. And we did, and they saw us, they said, wait a minute. We took everything from you and you still going? And some people just went to school with no shoes on. They like, wait a minute, so you just gonna go? Yeah, I'm not stopping just cause. Child, we come from a line of people that's gonna make it happen no matter what. Child, God is good and His mercy endures forever. I thank you for being here tonight, because you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you decided to be here with me. I send nothing but cleansing and purifying energy as you go on your way. I love you in the love of the Lord, and I pray that you stay on your path, and I pray that you hear God's voice always, and the voice of the enemy you do not hear. I pray that you stay focused. I pray that you slow down when you're not quite sure. And when you make a mistake, I pray you have enough wisdom to back it on up and not stay in pride in your ego and stay there. All right. I love you in the love of the Lord. You have a great evening. Good night.